All right. Welcome everyone to another edition of our Ask, Learn and Do series. We're joining you, from very, very hot Delhi. And we have with us Eleanor Kelly, who is Head of Strategy and Partnerships at UCD Innovation Academy. Very warm welcome to you, Eleanor.
Thank you, Anam, and joining online. I'm delighted.
Sorry, I think it's again skipping a couple of words.
Okay. I hope you can all hear me okay. I'm joining you from Dublin, from University College Dublin, where it is a little cooler today, I think, than it is in Delhi.
Yeah, I think Elena, honestly, we've been getting maybe one of the hottest summers we've experienced. It's well over 45 degrees, so quite insane. But so we are going to be talking about the MSc in Design Thinking for Sustainability that is offered at the UCD Innovation Academy. And the name itself is very interesting, Eleanor. Maybe you could just start by giving us an overview of this particular MSc.
Yeah, very happy to. So it is a master's program in design thinking for sustainability. And the master's really combines two important parts. The first part, design thinking. And design thinking is a problem solving methodology that began in Stanford University, actually. And it began with really with tech entrepreneurs who were looking for a way to design products, solve problems in a way human-centered, so that really put human beings at the center of the problem-solving process.
Mm-hmm.
It became a popular method, not just the tech sector, but has grown to include the public sector, the private sector. A lot of governments use design-led approaches now to solve their challenges. So design thinking is the problem-solving methodology. And then in our masters, we also combine with sustainability. And I don't have to tell those of you joining me from India about the challenges that we are facing in terms of climate, in terms of a warming planet, and all of the different sustainability challenges. And you can see behind me some of the SDGs, which are a big part of the program here. And although climate and the environment is one part of how we understand sustainability, we actually look at it in a very broad lens, whether it's about quality education for people around the world, whether it's about infrastructure, cities, urban environments, climate. We take a broad approach to sustainability in this master's program, very much informed by the SDGs. And so what we've brought together are those two parts, design thinking and sustainability. And we've done so very deliberately, because when it comes to sustainability, we need people who can solve problems quickly. It is a challenge that we cannot afford to engage in an academic, abstract way. Of course, knowledge underpins everything we do, but also action. And so in this program, students learn the skills, the mindset, very importantly, and also the knowledge, so that they can take action immediately when it comes to sustainability. And in fact, they take that action the minute they join this course. So one of the really unique features of this program is that you are working on real life challenges with real world organizations from the very beginning. So this is a very applied, real world program. You won't be sitting in a lecture theatre listening to someone, read you out a PowerPoint slide for an hour. You will be working on real challenges with very diverse interdisciplinary teams, and pitching and presenting those solutions that you create to real world actors as well.
That sounds amazing. And this, Elena, this would be the first year of the program, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's right. So this will be the first year it will roll out as a master's program. And so you'll know that a master's program is 90 ECTS, 90 credits, and it runs over 12 months. We have, however, been running this program now for 4 years as a graduate diploma. So 60 ECTS. We've had the opportunity to refine the program content, at least 2/3 of it, over the last 4 to 5 years, refining all those aspects of it, perfecting it. And the engagement has been so strong that we decided to upgrade the program to a master's program and add on that final module to make it a master's. And that module is the Applied Sustainability Project, which is an opportunity for learners to really take everything they've learned during the program and then apply it to a real world organization that in a project they lead individually. So unlike the rest of the program where you're working with teams up and you will final master's module, you will lead yourself an independent project with an organization of your choice. So I think particularly for international students, this project offers a real springboard university and into the world of work, and an opportunity for you to really translate everything that you've learned into a real world project, which is great material for you to use in your CV and your job applications. You know, often our students will be asked, okay, well, you learned all of this, but so what? What did you do with it? And so with the final module, you can point very tangibly to how you translated everything you've done in this master's into a real world project that you yourself have led.
Wonderful. And Elena, so you mentioned the type of organizations that students would be working on in that final module. Could you give us an idea on what type of organization students can expect to work with?
Yeah, so for the final master's module, students are welcome to choose or select an organization by themselves. So we expect students to be very proactive in choosing an organization that works for them and securing a partnership with that organization. And you know what you will be pitching to that organization is, I will work with you in depth to a sustainability challenge that you have. It might be that you will produce a sustainability strategy for the organization, or a sustainability report, or a work plan, something very applied and real world. Now, we are conscious that not everybody will have the networks and the connections to secure an organization for their final module. So we're also very happy to collaborate with students, make that connection, to help them find the partner that works for them for the final module. So although all students will be expected to be proactive in that search, we're also very happy to support students along that journey, particularly students who might not have the networks that they need. Though of course they are very welcome to also partner up with international organizations. You're not required to work exclusively with Irish organizations.
Great, great. And speaking of modules, is there a module that you are looking forward, or you have actually, since you've been teaching this for the past 4 years as well, is there a module that's your favorite or that you enjoy teaching?
You know, one of my favorite modules is our innovation sprint. And this is a really intensive, fast paced module over a week where students will work with an external organization. So the whole class works with the one organization, and you go in depth with that organization where they assign you with a challenge. You spend time with them on site with the organization, questioning them, finding out the challenge. You apply the design thinking methodology. So until this point, you've learned about it, you've applied it in small ways, but this is your opportunity now to apply it in a very intensive way. And you then design a solution with your team and back to the organization at the end of the week and hear their feedback. And in the graduate diploma class of this year, they actually had a great opportunity to partner with the Abbey Theatre here in Dublin. It's
Oh.
one of the most prestigious theatres in Ireland. And the theatre had a range, as you can imagine, as a historic legacy institution, had a lot of sustainability challenges to deal with, everything from what do we do with our costumes to make them more sustainable, to how to keep this old building, how do we turn a profit and also be sustainable. So they got to engage with the whole host of challenges that an organization like the Abbey Theatre was dealing with. They spent time in the theatre, they met with the staff and the team there, and then pitched solutions back. And actually the Abbey Theatre took on board and put into practice some of the solutions that the teams designed. So, I mean, that's a wonderful experience for you to apply learning in real time and see the impact.
That, I think that sounds so fascinating, because I think at some point you think MSc, you think some things are very technical, and I mean the Abbey Theatre. I think it's a wonderful way. Actually, this applies across the board. A program like this, as you said, so a wonderful example. Thank you, Elena. And I can see, you know. We're talking about innovation, design thinking, we're talking about sustainability. So what sort of, who would be the ideal applicant for this particular master's program?
Yeah, the ideal applicant is someone who comes with an open mind, with energy, with commitment. Those are the biggest requirements. We accept applicants from a range of backgrounds. There's no single background or experience to do this program. And we do that very deliberately. And it's because sustainability is not a challenge that can be solved by any one discipline. And actually, fundamental principles of innovation is
Mhm.
that breeds innovation. So if we put a table of engineers here to solve a problem for the Abbey Theatre, they would come up with an engineering solution. But if
Right.
you table of people who have backgrounds in the social sciences, engineering, philosophy, the public sector, you start to design and develop very creative, very real world solutions. So people who are interested in this program come from a variety of backgrounds. You can have done any real undergraduate program. Perhaps you've graduated a few years ago, you've worked for a few years, you're maybe thinking, need something else, I want to make a pivot. Is sustainability an area I want to go down? Then you are very much a good fit for this program. So that's the sort of the backgrounds that people come with. And then in terms of where they go after the program, again, it's a very diverse picture. We have people who leave the program and take on very specific sustainability roles. They might go on to become a sustainability consultant or analyst. And then we have people who, incorporate an element of the sustainability into a role, but it's not the defining feature. And really what we say to all of our students here is sustainability is on the same trajectory as digital was 20 years ago. It used to be that there was one person who did digital, and now everybody must do digital. And it's the same with sustainability. There is a huge gap in the labor market between the demand for green skills and the supply. Quite simply, employers are not able to fill the green jobs that they have now with skilled graduates. So we know there's demand for green graduates, and we know that every employee, regardless of your role, will need green skills. So I think anyone who comes and graduates from this program, they're leaving with a very applicable, ready to action set of skills and knowledge that we know are in demand in the labor market today, whether you're in India or Dublin or any other part of the world, because the climate crisis is somewhere that will touch us all.
It's already touching us. So I think the need for such programs, and I think the sort of awareness that they also bring is so very important, and it's a great initiative that you're doing. So maybe Eleanor, you could tell us a little bit about your the innovation academy at UCD, and what makes it stand out. Why should students come to you and study this? Because sustainability, as you've said, is becoming so very popular nowadays. So why should they come to you and do this program?
Sure. So, I mean, University College Dublin, as many of you will know, is a very distinguished university in the higher education landscape. So you'll come and you'll be a part of UCD, which is a wonderful experience. You'll also be a part of UCD Innovation Academy. And we are a very unique unit within, also within higher education. So we are a collaborative, multidisciplinary center where people practice innovation. We don't just talk innovation, we practice it. And so Pepper here beside us, who is our resident robot in our which is across the way. Our makerspace is a technology lab where students from all disciplines work on real world prototyping. So as a student of the MSc in
Mm-hmm.
design sustainability, you will have the makerspace at your disposal if you wish to create a prototype or a product perhaps, or a project that you've designed. And you can also see just over my shoulder our Greenacre prototype. And this is actually a living lab on campus here. So this is just a model of a larger space that we have on campus where students get hands-on. So if you learn, for example, about the circular economy at the Innovation Academy, then we're not going to read a lecture for an hour. We're going to get you to go out to Greenacre for an hour, to roll up your sleeves, to get some mucky feet, and to actually visit an experiential living lab where you'll see all of this in action. You know, out at Greenacre, for example, we have our mushroom farm where students collect coffee grounds from the cafes on campus, bring them to Greenacre, and there they cultivate oyster mushrooms from the coffee grounds collected on campus.
Oh.
We love mushrooms. We do that because we want to demonstrate what actually is the circular economy in reality. So it is an experiential space. It is underpinned by a deep academic rigor. The methods that we are deploying here are ones that are deployed in, you know, universities, not as many as we would like, but in many universities around the world who know the neuroscience of learning and know that actually when we experience, when we get hands-on, when we learn from doing, we're actually learning better. And I might just even show you our space here. So I'm joined
Yeah.
Shackleton Lounge, which is named after Ernest Shackleton, an Irish explorer. So I'll just turn around here so you can see a little bit. This is our colorful. It's very interactive. You've seen some of that, just some walls there. But as you can see, we create a space that is warm, that's welcoming, that's interactive, and where people really enjoy coming to. And we create, particularly for international students, a very warm, welcoming environment where people enjoy learning and enjoy spending their time.
Great. And Eleanor, what type of class size can students expect? And I'm asking because uh, over here, you know, we have massive classrooms. And, you know, so looking at the space, so what can students expect in terms of that?
Yeah, so typically our classes are between about 30 to 40 people. And we deliberately cap those class sizes to allow for the community building, the teamwork, the interaction. So that is how our classes work. And we do a lot of we spend a lot of time with students to create psychological safety among them so that there's a bond in the class, so that you know your class, so that you have time to understand their backgrounds, how you can work together. And really the communities that we create in the class, they endure for many years after. You know, there's often a WhatsApp group for the class that continues for many years where students leverage the networks that they've created, not just with their class, but actually with the Innovation Academy community overall, which is a very supportive and nurturing community.
I see. And we have a question on basically if someone does not come. So you mentioned the, say, the Makers Lab, and would, um, you know, a student be comfortable doing something like that if they haven't come from a tech background? How would they manage in such a space or in a module like that?
So to reassure you, the majority of people who use our makerspace have no tech background whatsoever. And we seek out those students, and those are the students that we want, because we feel that everybody needs to learn these techniques, and also enjoy the experience of doing something new. Because one of the most important skills that you will leave the Innovation Academy with is the ability to keep learning. Okay, because I suppose we have to move from this mindset that I do a degree, I do a master's, and I'm done. You know, that is not how the world of work and the world more generally will operate in the future. We need to keep learning. We need to try new things. We need the confidence to go into a makerspace and say, yeah, I'm going to try 3D printing. And, you know, I've done that journey myself. I have a background in humanities. I was a history graduate. I have
Okay.
any tech whatsoever, and it has been one of the most enjoyable parts of the Innovation Academy is the ability to try out the virtual reality headsets, to try out the 3D printers, to try out the laser cutting. And the team here is so nurturing and supportive, you know, that we've people who had no backgrounds design beautiful prototypes for their projects. So it's very much a profile we are familiar with.
Oh, wonderful. I mean, it sounds fascinating. I feel like I would want to someday do something like this as well. I come from a humanities background as well, so it's nice to know the sort of diversity that's been offered, because it wasn't there like 10 years ago. And there's so much more you can do, and so much good you can do with something like this as well. So that's wonderful. And now, coming back to, the program, so can students apply for this particular MSc right now?
Very much so. So the program, the MSc, is open for applications. I encourage you, it's very simply suggest that you email innovation.academy@ucd. We have a wonderful team of recruitment advisors who will follow up and arrange a time to speak with you about your background, and give you a really tailored a response to your questions. Every applicant is different, every situation is different, you know, so really from the first point of contact with us, we'll tailor our engagement with you and make sure, you know, that you're well prepared for success when you join the program.
Great. Thanks, Elena. And could you give us an idea about the financial aspect? So, what would the tuition fee be for non EU students? And are there any bursaries or scholarships that they can avail?
Yeah. So the tuition fees for non-EU students are €19,500, and that is for the full 12-month master's program. And there are bursaries available for international students. Every situation is different. So I suggest, again, you just email innovation.academy@ucd.ie, and then we'll speak to you about your own and try and understand, you know, what we can do to support you.
Okay, great. And is there any way? So I know you've talked us through the maker space. You've talked to us about uh, the living. What was it?
Labs.
The living labs. Are there any other modules that you could tell us about?
There's another module which is very impactful. I mean, they all are, but this one again stands out, and it's called Design Your Life. And this is actually a module that's inspired by a similar module in Stanford University. I think it's the most popular elective in Stanford. And module is an opportunity for students to really interrogate, you know, what motivates me? What are my values? What energizes me? What do I want to spend the rest of my life doing? And for many of us, you know, the what comes next is very much a postscript in our higher education
Yes.
experience. 1 or 2 sessions with a career guidance counselor. But this is a week, this is 5 full days for you to immerse yourself in understanding, you know, what will I do when I graduate? What's my plan A and what's my plan B? Because
Mhm.
sometimes plan A work, and we need to be prepared and be prepared for failures and hurdles and how we overcome them. So design your life, again, a really impactful module that sets you up for success when you leave this program. And we are very committed to ensuring that everything a student does in this program will set them up for success. And we take that responsibility seriously. You know, not an abstract learning experience. We want you to leave this program and to hit the ground running with your next step. And one thing I'll say as well that is unique about the program is the
Sorry, we lost you there, Lena.
sorry, I was just talking
Yeah.
about methodologies for the program, which it's important that learners understand. So we assess students through participation in the class and then engagement in projects and delivery of projects. So there are no written exams in this module. It is on the outputs, and there are outputs, there are a lot of outputs. There's projects, there's reflection reports, there's presentations. So there is a lot of output, but there are no exams. And the reason we do that is because, we actually don't believe that exams are the best way to assess what people have learned. And we also want you to be able to experiment, okay? And exams are not the best way to encourage people to experiment. And so the principle of innovation is that you try something, that you commit to something. And that's what we're trying to measure. And in addition to that, the module is configured as a pass, fail, masters. So there's no first class, second class, it's pass, fail. And the pass, as I said, is assessed on your contribution and your participation throughout the year.
Wow, that's so unique and forward thinking, I feel. So I remember when I came to study in Ireland, it was almost like, so I did literature, and that felt almost like a book club because we were just sitting and chatting about these books that, I enjoy. And, participation was key, which was, and for me, coming from, an Indian university, you have a very mixed bunch, and more often than not, it's very much rote learning. So you're sitting, you're writing, you're giving exams, you're not being challenged. And so this is so very important, and I think it's such a welcome change to bring into the education system, because it's, after all, it's your, sort of interaction, your communication, your problem solving in the moment, rather than your written skills, per se, that matter.
And those skills, and your story is so familiar because so many graduates come to us and they had that experience in their undergraduate learning. And I suppose this master's, it prepares them for that next step. It gives them, really importantly, the confidence to take the step, but also the skills. And we know how important skills are in the workforce at the moment. So this master's is a really unique combination of that knowledge that you need, but also the skills to apply that knowledge.
Great. And Eleanor, if you could tell us, who are the sorts of professors that, students would, be taught under?
Yeah. So we have a really mixed teaching team. So, for example, Dr. Thomas McCagno, who is the director of this master's program, he actually came from a background in industry. So he worked in sustainability and engineering for many years. And then he transitioned to academia. He was head of sustainability at Chatham University in the US, and then moved over to Ireland, and became of enterprise experience and higher education and academia. And then we have some of our team who come from more of an industry background. So, for example, Fergal Brophy, who is one of our leads when it comes to thinking and entrepreneurship. He comes from a background working with companies like PayPal, PepsiCo, ESB. So he's taking all of that insight from his work in industry and channeling it into his learning. And that profile is called Entrepreneurial Specialist here at UCD Innovation Academy. And then you'll also hear from outside experts. So we invite a range of external experts to come and to share their insights. So it's a very diverse group that you'll engage with.
Yeah, yeah. Great. And finally, I just wanted to ask you. I know you mentioned, talked about the international students, and how is it? What do you do at UCD and at the Innovation Academy to make it a smooth transition for students coming from diverse parts of the world?
Yeah, well, we'll work with each student individually to support them on that journey. We don't underestimate how big a commitment it is to relocate, to move country. And so we are proud of a very high touch experience and engagement with those students. UCD is obviously the global university. We excel well in our engagement with international students, and we have a great infrastructure set up to support them. And at the Innovation Academy, you know, you join a very warm and close community of people. And I know, having done it myself, how daunting it can be to move country, to make new friends, to make connections. And so really the Innovation Academy is a wonderful place to do that. It is warm, welcoming, nurturing, and you'll be sure to make great contacts, great friends, and networks that will last joining us here.
Great. Thank you so much, Elena. I think it's been a very, very fascinating chat, and I've learned a lot as well. And we are always happy to, because we are meeting with students very often, whether it's schools or universities or at our fairs. And it's great to talk about the, very sort of different offerings that come from Ireland, and in particularly programs like this. So we'd be happy to talk about that, and we really hope you get a sizable number of students from India, from different backgrounds. And thank you once again. And we'll be in touch, and we'll put in the email when we post this particular stream. I think you'd said it's innovation.academy@ucd.ie. So everyone hearing in, and if you're interested, please write to this particular email and find out if you are, you're eligible and how you can go about the application process.
That's great. Thank you so much. I hope to see some of you in Dublin in the near future, and you may even meet Pepper when you come as well. Pepper. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Eleanor. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.